Now you may think, okay, I could be stitching this as I'm marking, but you know, you've got to decide whether you can you know, move your ruler, because you'd be using a straight edge as a guide to stitch these, if you can move it accurately and stitch nicely and stuff. So depending on how skilled you are, you may decide, okay, this is taking as long as it would for me to stitch, but IQ will give you lovely straight lines. So, and I can move quickly from point to point, showing it where it has to stitch. Yeah, I'm getting a long way around this without having to stop. That's pretty good. Now where am I? I'm looking up at my picture now to see where I need to go, and I see I've got a line here to do, so I'm going to come this way. Again, it's a pretend curved edge, so I'm taking little short lines to come around the curve to here and then to the corner. Okay, now I think I've got to here and I've done all this part. So at this point I'm going to touch finished, and now I need to do a line here and a few more lines up here. So I'll go over here first. So I'm going to go add edit pattern, add pattern, line pattern, and I'm going to start over here in this corner. Now I could, I guess, just have stitched right along the seam line at that point, but I think I'd rather stop and start again. Okay, I think that's all I need to do there, so I'm going to touch finish. That was a real short line, and now I need to go over to this corner to finish that one. Again. So
say it again.
I need to go over to this corner to finish stitching the lines that are missing here. So I'm going to do add edit pattern again, add pattern, line pattern, and now I'm going over here and I'm looking up at my screen so I can see where I need to start. And let's see, I think I'll start here by the applique, so that's my starting point. Okay, 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 back this way. Okay, okay, around the curve. And back to that corner. Okay, finished. And there you can see all the cross hatching done behind this. Now if I'd thought about the stitching path a bit more, I may have been able to do it all in one go, but anyway, so now let's see how IQ stitches this out. So I'm going to do sew quilt. Now remember, I've got basically 3 patterns here. The big pass that I did first, so that's the one I'm going to select first. Continue. Then it's going to stitch this one, and I'm just going to touch, so continue, and I'm going to have it just stitch all along there. So I'm going to touch continuous stitch line, and then that little bit will be the last one, and that one I'll have it do an automatic jump stitch. So here we go, sew quilt. Make sure it's right where I told it to start. Yep. I've got my speed set. I've got fairly slow speeds here. Speed 1.3, details 1.1. And I've got my dial set to a speed which will give me a good stitch length. So let's start it off. If I marked it well, then it'll just stitch really nicely right down the edge of the applique. Considering I'm standing at the side of the machine doing this, it's not really too badly. Now I could probably make the machine go a bit faster than this, but I want it just to go slowly so you can see it tracing the path. And here it is going around the curve where I did the little short lengths. I've got fairly full batting on this, so it may draw in a little bit. Like this, so that it didn't quite hit the point at the top there, because it drew in a little bit. Those little short lines make the curve. Okay, now it's going across to the second pattern. Just this one straight line. Okay, now it's going to jump and do the final part. Did a little back stitch. And there it is, finished. And so there it did the cross hatching behind the Dresden plate. There's just one little piece here I see. I actually missed this little short piece here, which I could go back and do by hand right now if I wanted to. But there you go, that's how you can do cross hatching behind a Dresden plate. And I'll roll my quilt back and show you what I did behind an elephant earlier. Here's an elephant, which I did cross-hatching behind just to experiment yesterday when I was playing around with this. I'd stitched out this elephant a long time ago. Actually, if anybody took my class at MQS or MQX, this is one of the samples. So I marked a pretend edge of a block around it, and I did the 1.5 inch spacing, and then I just, the same as I did with the Dresden plate, I just traced around, went from point to point, and did little short lines as it went around the curve, and you see it turned out pretty well. I was pleased with that. I think there were about 3 stops and starts in that. I couldn't get as far around it as I did with the Dresden plate, but so you can do any old shape, you know, just back and forth, and there you have the cross hatching behind. I'm not sure I'd want to do a really intricate like Baltimore album type block with a lot of little tiny pieces, but that's entirely up to you. If you want to spend the time doing that, go ahead. So there you go, cross hatching behind a motif.